Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. We're going to completely shift your paradigm today. Usually, people treat ancient texts as exactly that, ancient history. But today, we're going to look at this text not as history, but as a living, real-time diagnostic map. Notice how it names itself right out of the gate. It establishes the book not as historical discourse, but as the active, living memory of the Rasul. By calling itself the best statement, it completely bypasses the need for external validation. It's setting its own rules. So you really have to ask yourself, are you just reading history, or are you actually walking through a living memory? This text operates as a closed universe of self-referencing truth. It's a real-time diagnostic tool for the human ego. When you engage with it, it's actually reading you. Section 1. The Closed Universe System. This acts like an absolute firewall for this universe. Nothing enters from the outside. That means every single question posed inside this framework acts as a mirror, and every accusation made by a character is secretly just a confession of their own internal state. Think of it as a mathematically sealed landscape. It's governed by 3 strict rules. Sealed by verse 3923, guarded by 45.6 for exclusivity, and filtered by 6116 to prevent any drift into majority conjecture. In this perfect vacuum, falsehood has no independent reality. When you force it into a cosmic Q&A, it always collapses on itself. Section 2. The Illusion of Certainty, the Disease of the Ego. The topology of falsehood always begins with premature certainty. It's a verdict handed down before the witness is even allowed to speak. You see, the ego speaks before it sees, relying on totally unverified conviction and masking it as absolute certainty. We see this structural node repeating perfectly across different events. The wife of the Aziz demands instant punishment on sight, and the idolaters confront Ibrahim with absolute blind conviction. These aren't isolated stories. The accuser is simply projecting their own hidden state outward onto an innocent target. Which brings us to the state of concealment. This is what it means to be trapped in a false projection, completely oblivious to the structural trap holding you back. Just like the Queen of Saba, held back by her previous worship, the ego operates completely blind, right up until its frame is violently broken. Section 3. The Silent Arbiters, Breaking the Frame. So how does the system tear down that false confidence? Not by debating you. The universe doesn't bother arguing. It forces the illusion to confront an inert witness. Ibrahim literally redirects the angry mob to go ask their biggest idol if it can speak. The system uses physical objects to completely shatter the accuser's sensory framework. These physical objects become silent arbiters. The shirt torn from behind overrides the verbal lie in chapter 12, and the glass floor, mistaken for water, exposes the queen's false perception in chapter 27. They're the exact same topological device doing what words simply cannot do, forcing the truth to the surface. It builds mathematically into a sequence. First, falsehood projects its hidden state. Second, an inert object acts as the arbiter. And third, the sensory framework of the accuser just shatters into a million pieces. The ego's illusion instantly collapses. Section 4. The Universal Confession, ZLM. The moment that projection shatters, the answer inherently indicts the speaker. Yusuf's brothers charge theft, only to accidentally expose their own original crime. The instant the queen's illusion breaks, she doesn't try to defend her old frame. She immediately pivots and confesses. This is where it gets mind-blowing. Look at this flawless mapping of the exact same Arabic root, ZLM for wrongdoing, across 3 distinct tiers of creation. The collective idolaters, the prophet Yunus calling from the dark, and the sovereign queen. They all use the identical root to confess. It proves that this return to the self is completely unconditioned by rank. Indeed, you are the wrongdoers. This inward turn is the micro-execution of the entire book's macro protocol. It's the ultimate realization that the external adversary you think you're fighting is really just an internal projection of your own state. Section 5. Only the face remains. The absolute seal. Every single session of falsehood ends precisely this way. Falsehood projects, the illusion breaks, everything perishes, and only the face remains. The fabricated accusations zero out and collapse completely under the weight of their own contradictions. Which brings us to verse 2888. Everything perishes except his face. This is the absolute mathematical closure to the circuit we've been tracing. When the projection runs out of energy, everything simply perishes. The key here is understanding the face, or wudge. It's the invariant truth that outlasts the question, outlasts the accuser, and outlasts the trial. Truth wins the cosmic Q&A session not by arguing back and forth, but literally by being the only thing left standing when the dust settles. Section 6. Activating the living memory. Here is the crucial takeaway. The culprits in the stories we just reviewed, they turned inward by accident, startled by an inert object. But you, the reader, are commanded to do it on purpose. You are the final node in this circuit, and you're asked to deliberately execute this inward turn by gripping the book with strength. You grab hold of this map intentionally. This incredible system just sits in pure potential until the living executor takes hold of it. It's waiting for you to step into the circuit. So the question you have to ask yourself is, when will you shatter your own glass floor and deliberately activate the book?